So I asked Papa what he would like me to read, what kind of material, and he said something, either something raunchy or something spacey. And so I decided on reading something from Dawn Visions, which was the uh, first book, 1964 City Lights book by Daniel Moore, who later went on to found the Lotus Opera Company out there and stuff. And I think it's one of the earliest, like really, like I think it's an acid uh, book, poetry book, but whatever. Anyway, this is the first section from that. The place of all possible darkness, all possible light. A hole the size of a pupil opens out in a spiral. Oh, fanning out. Let us go through it into the wood that bares its teeth and roars silent, down the narrow path of deeper insight. Hold a lighted match our guide will try to extinguish, and let it be extinguished. Naked feet scratched over edges of broken bottles, nails, wing feathers, and our muscles will be oars. When we reach the phosphorus river, do not say yes or no. There is neither darkness nor light where we give ourselves up to destiny by striding forth. The palms of ourselves turn outward, a drop of clear blood forming in the crease. We shall eat dust. You will arch your throat and say they are grapes, for they shall be grapes. Oh, the lid will be sharply nailed down on us, and we will feel a plunge and bubbles leaving our lips. And you will say we are dead, that something has glued your eyelids together, that something is moving, a heavy body around in your brain. We shall be dead, our eyes no longer of use, and a hole the size of a pupil will open out. We will go through it, into the wood, up the steep path, holding a lighting match that is extinguished. The deep eye opens out in a spiral. The deep island within our skull is suddenly awake. A green liquid flowing. I gotta turn that off. A liquid flowing, a rush of flaming winds, pinwheel of flame tips spinning around the gold mountain of our brain. Oh, bubbling lava flutes wind through caves in the hooded rock of night, where hermits wash stars with a glowing brook, bones grinding darkness into a fine dust. Spray and the skull melts away behind us, down through the silence of a distant ocean lost within silence. Alone and awake, held in the shining crescent of an unblinking fish, the phosphor of our ocean flesh rubs against wet polished stone. We rock with a tide throbbing in from the drowned conches of our ears. Pale, swirl red light, spinning globe of fire moves around us, breathing its glow. Liquid light brewed in the jug of an unopened dawn, and each twitch of its revolutions makes soft reefs for our shoulders. Dark wanderings float, speaking jungles wrapped in green threads hidden in the leaves. Huge bulls erect in visible surf. Flying fish, 1,000 rainbows leaping waterfall sails through the high sun of night. Oh, we turn down raw, unending tuttle throats we pass. We pass through the glare white rib cage smoking around us. We circulate past ebbing warmth, a swim in this shadow-cut zodiac of the womb without shape or extension, blind, mute, visionary song in the temples of our ecstasy. And black clouds watch our sleep beneath earth flow with pinpoint eyes. They watch our calm ooze, suspended in swinging nets. Watch us until a claw of wind drags us out with fingernail hooks, steaming odors of sacrifice. Oh, jagged walls of light. Oh, thick waters coiling together black and white strands. Rush deep waves, deep coil rope waves through our bodies. Only the storms in their tear-beaded cloaks whirl out above peaks. Breath of praise gave consent to the raw explosion of our birth. From their glob fists beating air into shrill tidal waves, igniting the placid gaze of frost, making a quick slash in the white belly of the world with a bloody icicle, disturbing the motionless pool we came. Watery petals in place of eyes, Only the invisible snow peak. Snow peak, trembling the margins of the visible where storms proceed, gives with a sign cut from one of its dawns. Proof of the calm bird springing slowly up and erect through our consummation, erect through the brittle cliff jutting with each of our footsteps through this sudden crystal enclosing the moth of self. Through this sudden flame jumping from the tips of our glance. O burning planet, with your corals and hairs and creaking rafters, come to rest within the outstretched space between our arms, throat of blue fire, breath of greater storm, and the skull melts away before us down through the silence of a distant ocean found within silence. Dawn of the spun leaf spawn in the visible desert, to expand from sea wave tips through dawn's chill vacuum beyond the glimmer of cloud shapes, ragged menageries hung in the sky, beyond unyielding arrangements of sight. Moving a herd of white flags across the horizon, expanding, air shaken loose by a crane's wing closing. A billow fulfilling its soluble destiny in the snail shell of the sea, spreading and shrinking with a breath of blue waves, lights, tides unhooked from the insides of their throats. Oh, expanding and closing, an eyelid pressing together the two floating halves of the earth. A bark set sail in the hissing vapors of nothingness, lamp of hammered flame held high as the moon, forcing tornadoes to give birth to their own silhouettes, forcing cyclones to kneel into breezes cooling my cheeks, to sail waving currents constantly rising, flowing up through the tree of flame toward clusters of green sparks. Expansion of waters echoing, rolling in light, expansion of waters that turn up deep black bellies like a raw burst of fruit. Oh, this, the coronation of burning thistle, the sea's bright trail lit from below, breaking open and folding over its wound with a membrane of frozen waves. This, the arrival piercing the mask's cloud-marked forehead as it shifts into light, a flash that palpitates into stone above the momentary tomb. Choosing roadways perched on a spider-web cliff, mist swirling dungeons on hillsides of thorns, their vacant rooms laments of frost and veins of burst crystal, shattered grimaces etched in windows wandering through the sudden forest of the moment that strikes once on a black anvil before morning light turns, opens out and soundlessly blossoms, raising the visible cages of day. My ears ticking with bird squawks left in the sky, vibrating after an upward lunge, after a sudden lightening of feathers in ascent. I walk through rivering strands of fog illumined by their own bleached sleep, while waters rage below in deep rock hollows, pausing in the cold air's whistling overcoat in the dawn's reckless and gruff companionship. I go on foot, a man folding and unfolding his tent in the unbroken gales whinnying through his chest. Moths of the first sunlight land trembling on my blue throat, fall down in a vest of spangled chainmail, and the gritty rains of the mountainsides gouge maps in the palms of my dismembered hands. I listen to the grindings and clinkings of an inner voice, an avalanche of voices, and the second avalanche of their echoes keeps falling down a ravine at the back of my brain. Have said goodbye to the faces whose body I never knew, and to the bodies whose faces suspended in clouds on a fluttering tightrope of veils I no longer remember. Goodbye to the black who watch me through hot cinnamon eyes as they pompously stride into mine, to the frail weeds advancing in columns among flower beds, both held under the one magnifying glass of sunlight, to the splintery forest of chairs that have propped me up and when I have gone continue their straight-backed angular lives in the dark. Oh, goodbye to the sterilized funeral processions in wax leaves, the sterilized birth pangs in odorless rooms, the emotionless sobbings into empty goblets. Until the beast-dark gypsy dancer of our blood throws back a lion-maned, sun-faced head, fills our universe with a sharp shout of being, until each of us grows in the flower pot of ourselves, our own miraculous plant with sparkling firmaments and tendrils, fireworks of a deeper vision. until warriors go naked again with an arsenal of harps and trumpets, bodies smeared with the oracular images of dream, precise battlefields covered with sand paintings of ponderable design, until body and brain come together like two flocks of birds over a purple sea in the sunlight, enter the full spaces of each other, enter that place where mind dances like fireflies. Until then, I have scrawled goodbye on little slips of paper and tied them on all the wild things that grow here. Smoke clears, drained back through a charred lung, hanging radiant on the twisting bleached boughs of this night. A gasoline sky stares sightless down on a forest of gnarled rib cages left open, scattered like torn camellias, rib cages whose throbbing blood birds have been scooped out with obsidian knives and set free. The cracked machinery of their bones circling up, clusters again in the air. Spinning fans, featherless wings, spread wide in a black canopy of ash to the four blood-soaked flags of the horizon. The droning ventricles of the earth squeeze together their empty burlap sacks, trees opening and closing the heavy doors of their creaking. A slowly moving skeleton crusted with barnacles appears in the glass, the glossy head of a dung beetle where its skull should be, and grins. Snails drag threads of mucus around its spine. Its crushed vertebrae press out fragile sunflowers of worms. Spiders, crinkling, drop down a wire between the thigh bones and swing back and forth, framed by the cracked egg of the pelvis, hidden by the straggly black waterfall of hairs that continue to grow. Its genitals curl and wither, last dark rose with crisp petals, dry stem watered in flame. Final whiplashes beating the plague to tatters, arch their backs on the road, dead crows nest in the scream-wrenched mouths of the hanged. The odorless clogs up our nostrils like rotting butcher shops. The soundless groans on the beaches with a plaster arm gnawed through to flesh. Blindness draws its gray membrane over our eyes and sews our eyelids together with sizzling string. In blackened ravines of space, emptiness moves through emptiness with gigantic strides, the clear pond of the moon flapping on its own scythe. The sea, a white face, flowing and wavering on its bloated surface, rolls over its own belly onto the sunless heat waves ripping from its depths, virgins wrapped in veils of submarine candlelight, lips covered with wax. Warriors still armored in the battered bronze sails of their bodies, the bowstrings of muscles drawn taut in a clenched fist, fishermen asleep in the celestial hammocks of their nets, haloed with spray of fins and scaly bosoms, heaves up. The pulverized Siamese twins of good and evil, attached by their hearts and with a luminous ribbon of tissue, a drowned owl awake in their face, and the sea depths themselves tear loose from their roots to float unhinged on the surface. Palms pressed to our boiling eyes until pinwheels of light can't block out the visible, the invisible silence of dead bloodstreams. Wreckage and sea wrack crashing beyond split prows of our being. Oh, the earth slides down beneath the ripples. We watch it sway and tremble like a dark tropical plant, stretch the aching pitch and toss of our bodies between two straight sides, bury us in the foaming bowels that steam and bleed in our brains, suspend us from the single vibrating nerve that twitches to speak, pull wide the brown leather wings of the dead bird, felled from its flight by the misshapen arrows of our glance. Burn fires in the vacant placenta of the patriarch who crumbles into stone, his hand a red pearl budding from the crease, raised as he recedes, layers of granite mouths stuffed with time. Finish the funeral dance with a click of the heels and a death heads firmly inscribed. To leave these cities searching through their smoldering wreckage, built in again on the bamboo poles of a floating mirage, hovering wingless at the edge of a windless nightmare's desert. These cities where we must blow hot sand into each other's eyes, where sharpened teeth of hidden dogs gnash in the night, where swords of smoke flash at the veins of leaves and the soundless sighs of ghosts who are not yet dead, boil up through a pulverized sky, where the secrets of space are bombarded and fall down in great flaming chunks, where explosions with enigmatic smiles are buried under the earth to scorch our feet with their hot coals as we practice the dance of death, where the catacombs of heaven are daily refurbished with velvet beds while we here below sharp coils jab the ribs of our sleep, and fountains, suddenly born from the mossy pubis of stones, are forced to gush cascades of dust. Oh, these cities, impaled like full bladders on the flagpoles of pride, where when we are thirsty, we must bite through our wrists to discover drops of the last remaining wine. Rain without water gnaws away at the rock where we stand. Heat without warmth twirls with naked feet on our eyelids. Candles placed flaming at birth within the cupped palms of our brains and chests are left untended in empty, windowless rooms where drop by drop they melt down into tears of wax. Our tongue in its mouth of graveyards, decomposed by desire and failure, is a sun whose center has rotted away, a throbbing ship that splinters at the highest wave of a crisis, a tower crumbling stone by stone into rumble of boneless specters, inaudible screams, reconstructing their broke glass horns in our ears. Our tongue, oh, inflamed, blister-rising, mushy, vaporous dough in our mouths. I leave as the unlidded eye of night lowers itself painfully through the retreating shark-bitten sea. A black fog of ravens swoops in a bloody clatter from the incomplete morning star of my farewell, within whose open shape my absence makes its absolute appearance. I swallow the daylight grape, hotly pregnant with potential seeds, to enter the capital of dawn an unarmored warrior, a shield of pulse, an indestructible scarlet feather vibrating in my chest. To drink from valleys of wheat the warmth of movement, gold wavering beneath dried skin, to pull my dismantled shoulders a cape, a slowly unfurling wing of interior lightning, its lining spun from the falling and rising lungs of all that I leave. I hollow out a place in my chest for the glow of a flame that casts no shadow, for the undulations of a sea that doesn't reflect, the hooves of its waves which never tire. I wear like a mask the alchemy of a glance that releases blue heat waves from stones, outlines the whisper of rising wings, and mixes the seasonal colors in a pot that keeps changing its shape. Oh, I arm myself with a single blade of watery flames, a blade that scrapes from the diamond of the earth a bursting flash of existence, plunging down through the mossy ooze at our feet, up past veils which cover the smile of space, to join the pale horse of the moon with the shouting bronze rider of day. Drive wooden shafts through the neon of hope, blinking in a restless whirlpool of darkness, and whispers where swirling, death alone, hunched up, waits to squirt its blank ink into outspreading clouds, into the outspreading cries of white cranes, expanding from sea wave tips, disappearing with sunlight asleep on their wings through dawn's chill vacuum. To clear the overgrown paths I have always followed, paths of flaming thorn whose blood-stained needles outline my irregular strides, to carve bold as a single petal in a desert whose frog's belly is dissected by constellations of breath, vanishing point and a center, to carve in the desert a naked stance, a mountain to stand in the weeping, battering fury of storms. Oh, a stance that was always there, but not before named in myself. That's it. Okay, don't...
Woo!
Wow.
Yeah.
BC.
We give you papaleegod from...
Yourself.
Hey, I'm mute. Yeah. Yeah, you got it. All right, we're in business. First of all, I'm not a particularly political monster, but I think in this, particular paradigm we're in, it's pretty important for me to sort of talk about the fact that I'm playing this gig on fucking stolen blackfellas land, and that's a pretty shit situation. Enough of that. I will take my glasses off, which means I'll probably be staring into the middle distance, but anyway, Let's see what happens. Rock and roll. World Boogie, it's coming.
Yay!
And the girls, oh the girls, they won't touch me cause I got a restoration. But I don't need a cure, don't need a cure, don't need a cure, I need a final solution. Don't need a cure, don't need a cure, don't need a cure, need a final solution. Some say it's a social affection. This is now fun. Need a little bit, 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 a little insurrection. What have we got left? About 10 minutes left or something? Bless you, my children. To reverse paraphrase Howard Devoto, it's so nice to see all your beautiful faces, and it's so nice for you to see mine. Alright then. I'll play a little, anyone remember Phil Collins? I don't know if he actually played on this, but let's see how it goes. Fuck, what am I doing?
Do you want your glasses?
No, we're good. Okay. Fuck off. Ducktail Studios. Quality and professionalism. Every time. I think that just stopped there. Oh yeah. I think I've got enough time for one last rock and roll song.
All right.
All right.
Jack it in.
Brothers and sisters, it takes approximately 5 minutes to insert a guitar jack. Ugh. Love is like a rambling rose. The more you feed it, the more it grows. Rambling rose, rambling rose. I believe in the local vernacular, it's fuck a duck. That was all right. Okay. Can I just say thank you to Byron and Ted and Lily and you guys and everything. I live on an island where there is one plane a day at the moment. It's like when you were here in the 1990, Byron. Actually, really like it was in 1990. So, any contributions, buy some shit off the Bandcamp. Like, I'd rather you got something out of it. Although you did get this, I guess. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I did. My head didn't explode. I made it. I did it. Wow. Thank you. I put my glasses back on. How come I'm looking at me at the moment and not you guys? What happened there?
What happened is we turned our videos off.
Oh, okay. All right. Do you guys want to hang out for a little bit? Like,
Sure.
After party.
yeah.
I can just pause the video. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me just stop it.
Yeah.
Let me stop the recording.
Yeah.